back at it again, guys. Welcome back to number 2 podcasts.
Yeah.
With Ian and Billy here.
Yeah.
And today, as you see down in the title, we're going to talk about work and our lives with work and how they affected our lives and I guess how much we get paid and the stories about how bad it is. But yeah, so let's get started. So, I work at Subway. I've been working there for like a couple months now. Actually, it's kind of crazy, but I just realized that like Subway just took up my whole summer. Like I was working like June and July, and I'm just like, it took up my whole summer. I'm like,
oh, whoops.
That is so disappointing right now. Like I literally worked over summer, like all day. Like I literally didn't do much. I went to Cedar Point, but that was like way early summer. So yeah.
It was before summer. That was like spring.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, so I work at Subway, and I used to work at Wendy's, and when I went to Subway, it was so much easier and so much better, but eventually it got
old.
Old and annoying. But yeah.
So what's it like working there? We never really made a video about Subway.
No, which is crazy, but like it was so much easier because you go there and it's not like fast food; it's just Subway. It's like,
which is fast food,
but
it's medium. It's medium paced food.
But it's like no, like you don't go there and get all greasy like I used to work at Wendy's. That's like, you all know that. But I used to
always be like all sweaty.
Yeah, and like, it was just like, okay, I don't care, I'm getting paid, so it's just Wendy's. But with Subway, it's like, oh, you work with like one other person. There's like no manager. There's like, oh, you do like 5 things of closing and you just make sandwiches or whatever, and it was like the easiest thing ever. But after doing it for like so long, it's like one of the most annoying things is like once you're trying to like do something like cleaning something, and then like somebody walks in and you're like, oh, I gotta stop everything, go get the customer, like do all that crap, make the whole sub, and just go finish something else. And it's just like if one person was on subs and one person was like doing the cleaning stuff, I would be fine with that, because you're not like going back and forth. Go ahead with your...
Are you done?
Yeah, I guess for now.
Oh, I'm sure you'll think of more. So, whenever I made my working at Target video, I mentioned that I still worked at Journeys, and I had 2 jobs. A lot of stuff has changed. I still work at Target, and I might have sounded like super happy that I work at Target, because that was I came when I made that video. That was like the first or second day I worked there.
Yeah.
I fucking hate Target.
But why?
Each day, and I'm gonna sound like the biggest complainer in the world. I don't care.
Yeah, it's customer service life.
Yeah.
With like fast food, retail, anything.
So, yeah, fast food and retail. It's the only jobs I could probably do because I'm 17. So each day is just so mentally grating on me that I'm just like so like numb. I'm just numb to pretty much what goes on. And there's so many stories that they're not even stories anymore. It's just a normal day. But I'll get into it. So yesterday, let me explain. Target has, their things where it's like, buy 2 things Tide and get a $5 gift card. And basically you're spending like $15 to get a $5 gift card that you can't even use towards that transaction. It's just when you pay with your card, then it's valid. Yeah. So a lot of people, like, they know what gets them the gift cards, so they're like, well, I needed Tide, so I'll just get an extra one, not have to buy it for a while. But then they'll have like random like small things, or sometimes it'll give you like a $10 gift card, so they'll have like 2 transactions going on. So it's like they'll buy the Tide, get the gift card, and then the next thing they'll use the gift card and get pretty much this stuff for free, but the stuff they just got for free gives them another gift card, and then they just got other stuff for free. It's annoying, but it's cool. Like, I get it. I'm not gonna say, oh, you're saving money. No, if it's like petty and you're saving like 50 cents, then get out.
Yeah.
But if it's quick, if they're cool with it, they're not like all uptight. You should give me a gift card, yeah. Because people do that. And it's whatever, you know. It's better than like extreme couponing where you're checking them out for like half an hour, and it's like Jesus God. So, this lady comes in yesterday, and basically, I'm not like her stuff didn't really like she didn't read the fine print, so a lot of her stuff wasn't working. She got one gift card, which was $5. Nothing else worked because she didn't read, and she's like, I scanned all her stuff, but she was in my line for like another 5 minutes. Because she was like going through all her coupon stuff, making me go up and down on the thing to see what she got, and then she forgot that she left these things on the conveyor belt, and she's like, "Oh, I forgot about it. It should work now," and it doesn't work. Yeah. And eventually, she's like, "All right, fine, I'll just pay." And I like the whole thing. I'm just like, "Yep, all right." No, it's still not working. Yeah, well, yeah. So, the next people come in, and I'm like, yeah, thank you for waiting, you know, people, they're crazy for their money, and she's like, you handled that very well. I'm like, oh, thanks. She's like, yeah, that was really cool of you. I'm just like, I've been working here since December, I'm just numb from this, this is nothing. And she's like, I don't blame you. So, I mean, it's not like every person that comes in makes you want to, like, choke myself. It's not like that at all. I make it seem that way. But there are a lot of people that are genuinely cool. That, like, that still exists.
But how come, like, the first or second... It seemed like the first week or first month you worked there, you're like, oh, it's easy.
Oh, this job is still easy.
Yeah, but it didn't seem like you have retarded customers.
I kind of did, but it was one of those things where it was like, new job, and it's like, yeah, nothing's gonna bring me down. And then, like, once you actually kind of get used to it, and, like, that hype's gone, you're just like, eh.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, so it's just like, I would be, like, so, like, thrilled when someone was cool. Now it's just like, whatever.
Wait.
Okay, so, so now it's just, I'm like at this point where it's just like, I legit don't even care. Like, ugh. So there's just like so much stuff that happens that like really just kills my mood and my vibe. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, So I like the other day, self-checkout. And sometimes like, if something happens, like let's say something got scanned twice, no one caught it, and they bought it, it's gonna show up like in our inventory and say like, oh, we don't have any more of this when we might do. Or like if someone's stocking stuff and they don't like put the price in, or like it doesn't go through, anything can happen. Sometimes you'll scan something and instead of getting the price, a thing pops up and it just says, how much is this? And you type in the amount. If it doesn't say it on the thing, he just asks the customer like, "Oh, hey, do you happen to catch how much this was?" And you know, sometimes it's like, "Oh, it was $2.99," and like they're they're legit. It's like, okay, $2.99, or if they're like, "Oh, I don't know," I look at it like, $1.99, like whatever. Like if it looks cheap, I'm gonna do like $2. If it's something like a little more, whatever. If it's something like a Keurig and it's not working, I'm gonna ask my manager, obviously, or I'll like pull it up on my phone. But it would never do that on a Keurig. You get the point, though. So this guy comes up and that thing happens. It says, "How much is this?" And he's like, "Oh, your equipment's not working." And it's like this douchey father with like his 10-year-old kid or whatever. He's like, "Oh, it looks like your equipment's not working. Maybe they should fix that." And I'm like, "Oh, it's not really the equipment. It's just, you know, sometimes things don't get in the system right." He's like, "Yeah, okay, And I'm like, "Oh, so yeah, there you go. I just did, or because it said how much is this, but like on the barcode it said $3. So I put in $3, and I walk away because you know I have to watch everything else. It's like, excuse me, it's doing it again. I'm like, really? You gotta be like petty about it. Like, it's not that real. And he's like, you know, it's really inconvenient that it does that. It's not like I want to be here. And then at this point, I just said, I don't really want to be here either. He's like, yeah, but you get paid to be here. And I'm just like, I just walk away. And he doesn't say anything. Like, this dude just took it from a 17-year-old dickhead. So I'm just like, I'm standing at the self-checkout, just doing my thing, and I'm like, God, I hope this dude doesn't come back. Oh, and he did something else. That gift card thing came up, where it's like, get the free gift card. He's like, one more thing. Says get the gift card. I don't know what this means. And I'm like, we don't have a camera right here. It's fine though. It's literally like the gift cards. Like, here's the screen. The gift cards are right in front of him. Like, so you grab the gift card, you scan it, there you go. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, so now what? I'm like, keep scanning. What do you think? Like what? You keep scanning your stuff. It's not like you just stop scanning and buy your stuff. Like, what do you think this is? So, and I was gonna, like, the kid was saying something, like, with this, like, because whenever you're looking at the computer and it says there's a gift card, what it does is it'll charge the amount of the gift card, whether it's like 5 or 10, but it instantly discounts itself on the same price. So, and so many people were so stupid. They're like, why does it say I bought a gift card? I'm like, no, it added it and then took it back off, so it's free. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay, like, it's not rocket science, it's Target. So,
it's not rocket science, it's Target.
Yeah, I'm so glad I said that. So people were just like so dumb with that, and it's like, how? So this kid's like, oh, so it gave you the $10 gift card, but took $10 off. That's like $20. I was about to say, oh no, this is how it actually works. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna.
I'm done.
Yeah, like, I'm done. I'm just done. So at this point, and I was actually supposed to go on my like legit 30-minute break, and so this girl comes up. She's someone I work with. She's like, Ian, you can go on your break. Oh, thank God! I just dipped. So yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if I was still new, I would be like, oh my god, my day's ruined. But I'm just like, eh. Like, the Emoji Movie is god-awful, but I relate so well to Gene, the meh emoji. I'm just, meh. I can't believe I just made a reference to the Emoji Movie.
Wait, so is Journey's better?
Alright, I'll get to that.
Okay.
Because I was just thinking about that.
Okay.
I was getting, like, kind of nostalgic. Yeah, because I was texting you earlier. So there's just, okay, story time, 2 stories. Self-checkout, there's a line, it's busy, there's 4 checkouts, you gotta wait in line, like any other thing that has a line, you gotta wait in the line. Lady comes up, everyone's like, oh, hey, she just cut the line. I'm like, don't worry, I'll handle it. I go up to the lady, I'm like, oh, excuse me, miss, there's a line back there, you're gonna have to wait in the line. She's like, oh, you guys must be doing something new then here. I'm like, I'm sorry, no, we're not. There's the line. She's like, oh, I thought you could just walk up to it. I'm like, no, it was never like that. That's why there's a line back there. She's like, oh, okay. And she goes to, hey, Bill, you know this story. Yeah. So she goes to, like, a normal checkout. She comes back. She says, I did not like how you handled that situation. I felt embarrassed and ashamed and just humiliated, and I did not appreciate how you talked to me. You did not have to say, whoa, lady, there's a line. I'm like, oh, I'm really sorry you feel this way. I in no way intended to make you feel, you know, talked down to in any way possible. But I'm sorry, but I did not say it like that. I wasn't gonna let her pretty much put words in my mouth. So she's like, oh, so you're gonna disagree with me? I'm gonna go talk to your manager then, or take me to your manager. I'm like, okay. So I go to my manager. I'm like, hey, manager. I'm not gonna say his name. But he is part of another story. I have so many stories of this goddamn forsaken place. So like, hey manager, got a guest complaint, and so she explains it, but she explains it so terribly because she's mad. She just wants to win this situation. And he says, oh, I'm sorry, and he's like, so you cut the line? And she's like, well, I didn't know that. You guys were trying something new. And he pretty much was just not taking it. And he was just like, what?
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, you could have at least said sorry. And I was about to say, well, he did. Are you not paying attention? And, so he was like, Ian, just go back to the self-checkout. I got it. But she ended up making him, like, give her basically the corporate number. So he comes over, he's like, don't worry about it. If she calls corporate, they're not going to care. She cut the line. She broke the rules. Your STO or, like, ESTO, whatever, your executive, the super person knows, what happened. It's alright. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he's the boss that is especially that. So, but like, me and him were just, like, cool. But then, this is the same one that, like, wouldn't let me leave the one day. I'm getting into that story. So, I'm in Target, working, grinding, you know how it be. And, I'm at self-checkout. I don't know if I said that already. The boss that helped me out in this situation is working today. Everything's cool, but let me explain. My availability said that I can leave at 9:45. Every manager knows that I can't leave at 9:45 because I have to go through this certain exit that goes through the mall because I have to get on the trolley that comes at 9:50. If I leave at 9:45, the doors are closed, I'd have to walk around. I wouldn't get to the station until like 10. I wouldn't get home until like 11 every night, which I'm not trying to do.
Yeah. For like 15 minutes, that's like 2 cents.
Exactly. So every manager, it was to a point where they just knew, and I just left, and they didn't care. So here's what happens. Self-checkout, one machine's not taking cards. Like, oh, that's weird. But, like, it was, like, hit or miss. Then eventually just, boom, nothing. The entire store, apparently was every Target, was not taking credit cards. You could have prayed to Jesus and Satan and God, all of them, and it would not work. There was nothing you could do, and because the systems were down. Target was down. There was nothing you could do. Line is backed up like Black Friday. It's so bad. All 4 people are yelling at me like, "Why isn't this working? Make it work!" Blah. This one lady, it wouldn't give her change. It wouldn't give her change. Like, it was down. Yeah. And I'm like, there was nothing I could do. So I'm going back and forth between self-checkout and guest service where my manager was. Same manager from the last story, like I said. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I'm going to the other manager, like, I need help. This isn't working. And he's like, I'm busy at guest service. So I'm just like, what the hell? This was never, ever in orientation or in the protocol. So I'm just legit winging it. Yeah. Like, I don't know how I was doing this.
I would just walk away, like, at that point, if everyone's, like...
I would have been like, I'm going to the bathroom and cry.
Because if you're standing there, I could just see it. Like, if you're standing there, and literally everyone's, like, this, and this, I'll just walk away, like, let your manager deal with it. Like...
Yeah, but here's the thing. He wouldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, just bring him on a register. And I'm like, but A, they're not taking cards. B... There's people that are getting screwed over right now with getting change. He's like, we'll just take them on another register. I'm like, I was about to snap and say, you know what? But I was like, all right, fine. Like, he was getting, like, really saucy with me. So right as I'm about to do that, and keep in mind, I'm like, I have all these people on hold. This lady comes up. She's like, I don't know what's going on, but I am in the middle of an emergency. My husband's in the hospital. I need to go there now, and no one's doing anything to help. You need to check me out. And I'm like, I can't argue with that. So I go back to our guest service. I ring this lady out. She's yelling at me, because we didn't make an announcement that none of the card things are working. And we're like, we're all busy, and it's not my job to make the announcement, it's my manager's thing.
Yeah.
So just to like soothe her soul, I'm like, hey boss, can we make an announcement that the cards aren't working? He's like, you can try. I'm like, bro, that's not my job.
Yeah.
So we're just like, so it was just that going on, and thank God this thing worked. She's like, I mean, have some decency. Like, where's the customer? She was like the last lady that complained about me. She's like, where's that customer service at? Like, just tell us. And I'm like, I agree. There's nothing I can do. I'm like, if I can only do 100%, I'm doing 3,000 right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing way more than I ever signed up for here. And I was about to just walk out and leave the store. Like, I was just so done. And this is like a rant at this point. So I go to the people, like I ring her out, I go to the people at self-checkout, I'm like, I'm really sorry, there's nothing I can do, it's not taking cards, I can't do anything, we're just gonna have to wait. If you have cash and can pay with it, I'll take you on this register. And then, of course, this one lady's like, well, what about the people that are paying with cards like me? And I'm like, nothing I can do, eat a brick. Like, I can't do anything. So I leave them, I'm ringing people out, 7:45 comes, or 7:30, I was supposed to take my break at 7:30, and I'm ringing people out, but 7:45 comes, and the boss comes, he's like, hey, you can take your break now. I'm like, oh, okay. 7:45, I had a 15-minute paid break, because if I have a long day, 2 15-minute paid breaks, 1 30-minute unpaid. If it's a short day like this was, where it was a 4-hour shift right after school, it's just 1 15-minute paid break.
Yeah.
As simple as that. So, I am stuck with guests. I had like this really, really, really like she was like old. She was really just not there. Like she was just not functional. Like I'm not even making a joke. She was just like past that point of, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So like I'm stuck with her, and then I have a guest after her who was so he waited 20 minutes. I don't know how. Like, he could have just gone anywhere else, but he waited. But he was super chill, so he got it. So I ring his stuff out, and I'm not free until 8. Get on my break, it's 8, and then I come back at 8:15. I took my 15. I come back. He says, "Don't ever take a long break again. Go on this register." And I'm like, I what? I didn't take a long break. So I'm on the register. I'm like all like nervous and stuff. I'm like, am I about to like lose my job or something? Then my one friend, she comes by and she's like, "Did boss name just yell at you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't even do anything." So when it's like not busy and systems are back up, everything's working, I'm like, "Hey boss, what time did you record me coming back from my 15?" He's like, "I don't know, like 8:30. I'm like, "No, I didn't come back at 8:30. He's like, "Then I don't know, 8:20. And I'm like, again, no, I didn't. I was stuck with a guest until 8, and I came back at 8:15. He's like, do you really want to get into it? Because we can look at the cameras. I'm like, I'm not trying to get into it. I'm just trying to let you know that I didn't do anything wrong here, and you're saying I am. He's like, well, 15 minutes is 15 minutes. And I'm like, you're legit. Even if I did come back at 8:20, it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We're not going down.
Yeah.
But I came back normal time. Yeah. So it's like, why
are you like, let's get into it? Like,
I should have. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't. I was just like, this is happening right now. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna accelerate it. So 9:30 comes. Thank God my dad was picking me up that day, because I would have been home at 11. 9:30 comes. I'm like, all right, see you, boss. He's like, wait, it's 9:30. You're here till 9:45. I'm like, oh well, I leave at 9:30s because XYZ reason. Every boss knows. He's like, well, it says 9:45. I'm like, but you and every other, well, they're not bosses or it's called GSA. I'm like, you and every other GSA lets me leave at 9:30, and we're not going down or anything. And he's like, well, you're just gonna have to go back on a register. I'm like, bro. I didn't say bro, obviously. It's professional. I should have. So, he's like, did you change your availability? And I'm like, yeah. And the first time I did it, it got denied. And then I talked to other boss who's also HR, and he said he'd change it. And I'm just waiting on that. And he's like, well, it says 9:45, so you're gonna have to wait. And I looking back, I should have just said, well, 15 minutes is 15 minutes, I thought. And just, like, roasted him, walked out, dropped mic. But, like, I just didn't even think of that. I was just like, it's one thing after another with you today, isn't it? So, I don't know, I was just, like, so dead. That was, like, my breaking point.
Yeah.
Apart from every other time I thought it was my breaking point at Target. I just, like, every day after that, I was like, I do not want to come.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like, I do not want to come. Like, there's no flame of motivation in me at all. So I just kind of roughed it out. I didn't work a shift with him. He's usually there Mondays. I didn't work a Monday shift for like 2 or 3 weeks, so I didn't see him for a while. So I mean, me and him, like, we're fine now. Like, it's not like we ever had beef. 'Cause I mean, like, whenever I left, I'm like, all right, see ya, boss name, just to, like, because, you know, I'm not trying to hold a grudge. I'm not trying to have beef with the boss. It's like, oh, see you and have a great night. I'm like, you too. Whatever. I mean, now I guess it's like water under the bridge. We're both in a bad mood. Worst case scenario, ×2 just happened. So I get that, but it's still like, you just killed any motive that I had here.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, there's just countless things that really just bum me out working there now. And like you mentioned, wow, that was a long story, but I'm okay with that, because that's kind of the point. So, Journeys, I started Target in December 4th, and when I got the job, I don't know if I mentioned this in my working at Target video, I don't remember, it was too long ago, and it was so off script and impromptu. So, I get the job, I go to Journeys to show my boss at that time, at Journeys, I just fail at that sentence. I showed my Journeys boss my schedule at Target, and she was like, okay, I'll just take you off, for, like, these days for this week. I'm like, oh, okay, well, next week, and she's like, oh, no, just worry about that when next week comes. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I do my, my Journeys, like, 1 or 2 shifts or whatever, and, then I do, like, my Target shifts. And the next week comes, and I get the schedule for Journeys. They scheduled me on a day that I worked at Target. I'm like, gee, so much for worrying about next week when it comes. And no one, just for no reason, because Journeys is really laid back. You could literally just be like, hey, Bob, you want my shift? Yeah, sure. Hey, boss, is that cool? Yeah, that's fine. It's that easy. Like you could not be scheduled at all, and, like, shifts get thrown around so much that you could get, like, 20 hours if you really wanted to, and worked for it, like, with people to get shifts. Like, it was just that crazy. But no one could take my shift because it was, like, a busy day, so I don't know. I think, like, everyone was scheduled because Christmas. So I split my shift in half that day, and not only that, but I was late coming in because the trolleys weren't running, and all the streets were icy. Remember that?
Yeah.
So I didn't go to work. I worked for like an hour at Journeys, or like an hour and a half, at most 2. Then it was like, bam, Journeys is done. Go to Target.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I worked 2 jobs in one day. I was just like, I feel like trash. And then I had to, like, change and everything. I'm just like, ugh. So but, well, it wasn't as bad because at that time Target, they didn't care too much about red shirts. Like, you had to have a red shirt, but, like, you know my burgundy Gap hoodie?
Yeah.
I could have thrown that on, and they were cool with it at that time. Now it has to be all red, like, actual red, or have Target logo on it. And during holiday time, they let us wear jeans. So I was basically in Journey's dress code at Target, just jeans and, like, so, wait. Oh, man. Oh, there's, like, a little aftermath there. So I'm working at Target. That short shift was my last shift at Journeys. Then they just weren't scheduling me at all. And so my boss at Journeys, in the middle of a Target shift, sent me a really like crappy written message, and pretty much said like, "Hey Ian, your lack of performance is really shown. I'm just gonna let you go with the seasonal hires. Thank you for all you've done." And I'm just like, I understand. I appreciate like what you've shown me, and I did like a little peace out emoji. That was that. I got fired from Journeys, and like I read that message.
Were you like happy?
I wasn't. I was expecting it. Honestly, I was gonna put in my 2 weeks anyways because they weren't scheduling me.
Yeah.
But I was expecting it. I was just waiting for that bomb to go off. It wasn't. There was no beef or anything. Everything was cool.
Yeah.
I still go to Journeys today, and a lot of people I worked with that are pretty much my friends, I see all the time, and I'll stop in if I have time. I'm just like, hey, what's up? What's poppin'? So yeah, like I read the message, and like I said, it was horribly written. My mom was like considering calling corporate for how like terrible it was. But I look at my phone, and like this lady's paying up at, she's paying with her card. I look up, I'm like, I just got fired from Journeys. She's like, oh, well, okay, welcome to Target, I guess. And I'm like, yeah, well, all right, here's your receipt. See you later. It was like the most Caden moment of my life.
Yeah.
But that manager doesn't even like. So she was the manager at the head manager at that Journeys. About 2 weeks later, she transferred to a different Journeys, because it was closer. She doesn't even work at Journeys anymore, because there was this guy named John. He was like the head boss. Like he would go in the different Journeys, see how he was like a district leader. Basically what my mom does sometimes, and basically just see like how we're doing, if we're doing everything right, all that nitty gritty. And he left, and the new person apparently sucks at everything. So she made my OG Journeys boss leave, which means the assistant manager is now the current manager, which she was super cool, super chill. But I don't know, I'm just like, if I had the hours at Journeys, if I could do like 15 hours a week at Journeys every week, I would go back there. Because really, it was just chill. Like I liked that I got to wear, my favorite shoes. Well, at the time, my favorite shoes were like Vans and Chucks. Now it's like Nike and Adidas. Well, they sell Adidas, so I'd be fine. It's like, I wear Adidas. I dress nice, like not like baggy jeans, overgrown shirt. It's just like, because like when I dress nice to go out, it's like a skinny jean kind of thing, like a slim fit jean, a nice shirt, and then like my spring jacket that like is like a certain fit, and then nice shoes. That was how I was at Journeys, and I was like, man, like I feel like cutting edge. That's the right word to use. I just felt cool working there, and everyone else was like the same. It's like, wow, like I'm legit with my peeps, and we're just making it happen. Not only that, but like you would get rude people every now and then, but it wasn't like Target where everyone's like, oh, I want to go. People wanted to come to Journeys. So people that would come in, it was never an issue. Like, it was just normal. Like, you had good people come in. There was occasionally some people that were annoying, or like I wanted them to leave. But like I was mentioning earlier over text, if there was someone that really brought me down that much, then I'll talk to someone about it that I'm working with, and you're like, oh man, what a jerk, and it's like, haha, I feel cool. I would always leave a Journey shifts, like, alright, sweet. And when I first started there, and like when I first started there, I sucked because I didn't know what I was doing. I barely got training. Learning the stockroom was a pain. But once I got everything, it was lit. Then this one girl came, and she was nice, we're cool, but I hated or for this reason, that whole commission thing, it's like how you approach people.
Yeah.
That's like another reason I wouldn't go back is commission and minimum wage. That's a huge, just like, pay. It's not good. So it's like I would say hey to someone, and then, you know, they're just looking or like whatever, and then like usually when they're holding a shoe, that's kind of like the key. Like, go ask them if they want it in a size, they'll say yes. So it's like the person that, like, if you greet them, that's kind of like your thing, to go over there. So right as I'm like about to go over, this girl comes. She's like, "Hi, like, can I get this for you?" She's like, "Oh yeah." And it's like, "Oh, you stole my sale."
Yeah.
She always did that. I was making all my goals, and then she came. Goals are gone. Like, she took all of my sales all the time, but she did it to everyone. So her sales are like all the way up high, and then I'm like getting like 2 sales a shift. I'm just like, I don't care. I'm done. And like, I'm getting $15 a paycheck. Literally $15 to $60 at the most. So it's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, if I can make my sales goals more at Journeys, if I were to work there again, if it was more like regulated, so I'm not getting sales stolen, then, oh, and another thing is, and this is really trashy, is, let's say 2 people come in. Guy 1 wants a pair of Timbs, and his girlfriend wants 2 pairs of Uggs. If I got him the Timbs, but like as I'm getting the Timbs, the girlfriend says, "Get me the Uggs," whoever got the more expensive shoes will get the sale, which means I did their work.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah,
that's not fair. So if that was regulated and it was all the way it should be, and I got hours and I got pay, I would go back there instantly. So.
Okay, so...
Yeah, do I have any stories?
Yeah, so... Freaking Subway, so... You know, like, the worst thing is... Like, same with the customers. Obviously, it's like fast food pretty much, and it's retail. So, like, today we went... So, today... Like, oh no, let's start with my freaking manager. So I get the first job on the day. She's like, "Oh, you can go back there until like
first day on the job."
Yeah, you can go sit in the back until Justin gets here." And I'm like, "Okay." And then she texts me and she's like, "Can you go help him with, like, cause he was going down?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to do, like, cause like I know I worked in food, but this is Subway and it's not like, it's different."
Didn't she like know that you were going down, but she wasn't there?
No. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, you were telling me something weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, go ahead. That's a different story.
Anyways, like, I'm going, and I'm just like, well, I'm just standing behind the counter, and the guy's like, "Can you do the toppings or whatever?" I'm like, "I guess." And I'm like, I wasn't supposed to, like, work. So I was just thrown in there. And pretty much, when you work there, you're just thrown in there. So, like, it's like, I kind of get the point, but she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you were thrown in here." But she does it to everyone. Whoever works there is like that. So, like, I'm like, okay, it's pretty legit here. Like, I got trained for like 2 or 3 days, and like everything's good, and the manager is good, and we have the owner, which is horrible. So
Man, deep.
Yeah, like that's fucking horrible.
Whoops, censor that. You don't care.
So I'm just like, okay, but eventually it's like my manager gets so, like, it's like recently she just gets so confusing, and like people agree with me. It's like, she's so confusing with the schedule. She doesn't follow her schedule. So, like, she said she would come in at, like, 9:30, but she comes in at, like, 11. So she's, like, late, but she's, like, the manager, and she makes her own schedule. So, like, makes no sense. And it's, like, it's, like, how you work. It's, like, when you work with one person only, you get screwed over. So, if that other person doesn't work and doesn't do anything, you're, like, completely effed. And it's just so BS. It's, like, wow. I literally had to do everything today, but I don't care, because, you know, it's not much. Tips. But still, it's like, oh my god, like what's the point of that? So it's just BS.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I'm just like,
or I understand.
Yeah, it's just so annoying. And I'm trying to think what else the manager does is like stupid. Like there's so many things like. This is if you worked in fast food, you would like understand this hardcore, like, so, like obviously you have to do your things. You have to get your things done, but it's like. Say me and somebody else opens from like 10 to 4 or something like that or whatever, and then they come and then like the manager comes at 4. It's like, oh, this place is a mess and there's nothing prepped, and I'm like, yeah, no shit, because we were going down all day. It's kind of like today. It's like well, the other girl texted the manager. She's like, oh, don't expect it to be a mess or something like that, and don't expect anything to be prepped. You can't go in the next morning. You can't come in at 4 o'clock and expect everything to be perfect because it's like fast food, right? And it's just like really, you're gonna get salty over that? Like, it's not that hard to like get everything done, but since we had customers, you can't expect us to get everything done. It's like, fuck you then. It's like, honestly, it's like, even the closing, like I close a lot, and then she wants us to leave at like 10. She doesn't want us to stay until 10:30. Well, okay, I can leave at 10 o'clock exactly, but I'm not gonna get like 1 or 2 things done because we have to leave at this time, or she wants us to leave by this time. Well, like, no, which one is it? Schedule us to 10:30, so we could like finish the stupid things you want us to do, or just do like, or just shut up about it and just like move on with your life and just stop complaining so much. And it's just so annoying. Like the one, like, this is the same thing exactly. Like the one morning I was working with this one girl, and she came in and she's like, why is nothing prepped? And then like the girl I was working with in the morning, she's like, I don't know, like we were doing stuff all morning. She's like, yeah, okay, like everything's so easy, like prepping. And I'm like, well, we couldn't do it. Like, are you stupid? Like, if it's so easy, then you do it, because we were doing stuff all morning, like making the bread or whatever. Like, fuck you then. Like,
yeah, that's kind of corny. I would be salty.
Yeah, and I'm just like, God, if you want to like run this whole store and then just you run everything, it's just, oh my God, it's so annoying. Like, fuck you. And then like with the, oh my God, and then like with the people, like we hire so many people and so many people quit and hire. Like once I come back, if I go back in January or whatever, or February, this is gonna be completely different people. Like everyone's gonna be different because everyone quits. Then we get new people and stuff like that. And then that's what the one girl said to me. She's like, if the manager expects us to be good, then she would train everyone for like 1 or 2 days. But again, like I said before, I was thrown in, and this other kid was thrown in that worked at Wendy's. So you can't expect us to know stuff without being trained. Like, you wanted to do it her way, then, or you wanted to do the manager's way? Well, why doesn't the manager teach us? We find our own way to do it and tell us. So it's just like, you're so back and forth, and it's so annoying. Holy crap.
I don't know, it's just Odie.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God.
See, that's exactly what happened with Target. Is my first day, this manager, he's not there anymore. His name was Billy. He was cool. He showed me like how to scan things, what button to press for like total, but he didn't really show me much. He showed me like, oh, this is what you do. Like, you scan this when someone wants a red card. Sorry, I was fixing my nose, which is like a little pamphlet thing. That's all your dad had one day. You like scan the back side of it, but like I didn't know how to actually do that, and I was just like, okay, I guess, I don't know. And I was like, all right, so I'm gonna have you shadow this person here. She's not even there anymore. And I like watched her scan a few things, or like scan a few people out. I'm like, okay. And she's like, alright, I'm going on my break.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you want me to jump on? She's like, yep. I'm like, okay. And I think she watched me for like one person who had like one thing. But like, it's funny, I remember this, and I made it a point to remember this, is when I rang her out, I was like, you're the first person I ever rang out here. This is like one of literally thousands.
Yeah.
She's like, oh wow, I just made history. I'm like, yep. So she goes on her break. I'm like, what? I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks. Just
it's like, what do I do?
49:48. And it was funny. Like, red cards. I don't even remember the last time. Yeah, I do. The last time I sold one. It's just like, here's what's so BS about that. And I'm so glad my Target doesn't get on me too much about not selling them. Is because, if you didn't hear it, Bill accidentally kicked the mic. Because we're like sitting on the floor. Because my room is awesome.
Yeah, okay.
So, whoops. So, wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, it was like every guest, every time, do you have a red card with us today? Yes. Oh, that's cool, saving at 5% or something like that. Do you have a red card with us today? No. Check the sign up for one, say 5%. And they always say no. I don't even ask
like
anymore.
always.
I don't even ask anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't get in trouble for not selling them. And I don't really get much for selling them. So I don't care.
Yeah.
And I just, like, and then every so often, like, pull up the stats, like, oh, Ian, out of 200 guests that you've scanned last week, which they have the numbers.
Yeah.
Like, out of, like, 200 number guests, you sold 0 red cards. I'm like,
cool.
And, like, yeah. Cool.
Can you imagine if you said that?
Oh my god, I would get fired. It's like,
I'll be like, I don't care.
I love how, like, showy you were about that. Just, you sold 0 red cards. Cool. Oh my god, that just made my life. Oh man. So, like, I don't even say anything. Because there's like, and you sold 0. So we need to make sure that it's ask every guest every time consistently. I'm like, yep, I totally get that. I've been asking. It's just no one's getting them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I understand how it is, but just make sure you're doing that. Like, okay, cool.
So you never do it?
Well, pretty much. But there's time, like, yesterday, for example, I was scanning out a bunch of things. I was asking a fair bit, mainly because my boss was around. But I was like, why not? I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna try to get one in there. But here's the thing: is there's 2 versions. There's a credit one, and there's a debit one. You know, credit, debt. So, like, you buy it, and you owe that money at, like, the end of the month. Or you could pay it off, like, when you get home. But then there's an interest on it that you gotta pay. And no one likes that. So, and I don't even know the rate of the interest on the red card. I think it's, like, something high, but I don't know. Probably is. And then there's the debit one, which is, I personally have. And I think it's pretty damn sweet. Because there's no interest, but it ties into your OG bank account. So if I buy a can of pop, it's like 90 cents. Target, it would never be that cheap. It would be a little slower than, like, the actual, like, cause I have PNC. It would be slower than my PNC Visa card, just because it takes a few days to process, go through Target, go through the bank, blah. So the thing, if you're gonna do the debit one in the store, you have to have a blank check.
Yeah.
Like, that's the way it be. You need to have a blank check because it has the routing number and the account number for your bank account, and it has to go through and clear all that goody good stuff. And you need a valid ID, but, like, you need your driver's license if you do it in a store. Because the only way they can put it through the computer, the only way to let you is if you scan the endorsement line on a driver's license. I'll show you real quick. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Well, I just want to see it for myself real quick. Oh yeah, I have a driver's license now. That's lit. For our, like, 2 fans that are watching. Oh my god, get out of my wallet. So, I didn't have... Oh wait, that's not even the story I'm telling. Oh yeah, whenever I got mine, I didn't have a driver's license at the time, so I had to do it online with my passport. So, everyone has, like, no, or I'm a wreck right now because I'm talking about driver's license. Yeah, that little line there. no one brings out, like, unless, like, you pay with checks, which is, like, 2% of target customer population, no one has a blank check just chilling with them. So it's like, if I do get someone on, like, hooked on the idea, it's like, oh, I want to do the debit version. Instantly, I'm just like, fuck. Like, do you have a blank check with you? No? Oh, well, there goes my shout out for Target. So, but if you do the credit one, which no one wants to do because it's credit,
and it's retarded.
Yeah, because that 5% you're saving, you're pretty much, for that 5% that you save, you're basically paying like 15% interest.
Yeah.
It's like, screw that. That's stupid.
And it's literally 5%.
Yeah, it's
literally
like
nothing.
Yeah, it barely covers your tax, or it doesn't even cover your tax. It's like 7%.
Yeah.
I think it's like a little different for like some areas, like South Hills Village was probably like 20.
I heard. What do you mean like? 20?
I was joking.
Well, Allegheny County 7% and every other county in PA 6%.
That's correct.
It's so dumb.
Well, I heard sales tax in New York City are fucking outrageous.
Yeah.
Like every other price there. Oh, that was lit. I like threw like the card, this one thing in my wallet where like it holds your pictures. I like tossed it on the floor, but it landed standing up. It was cool. Yeah. So usually if someone ever gets on the idea, like, would you like to sign up for 1 to 5%? Okay, what is the red card? Like, well, it's a credit, and they're like, no, because they hear credit, they're like, oh no, and I'm like, oh, there's the debit one too, and at that point they're turned off. They heard credit, they're like, oh, I don't want it. Even if I say debit or credit, if I say debit first, they're turned off because they hear credit. So it's just like, there's no point in even. I don't care, dude.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
It's like not your problem.
Yeah, I mean it is, but it's not really.
Yeah.
So work sucks. I so badly wish I lived in Lawrenceville because I could get a job at that Computer Works, and I would.
Isn't it?
Go ahead.
How far is that? I guess you take the trolley.
But I'd have to take the trolley then the bus.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. That's based.
Can't you drive eventually?
Eventually, but I'll be in college by the time I have my own car that I can take everywhere. So
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. I would, because I knew what I was doing there. The team was 4 other people, so I was really close with those people, and we all got it, you know. So it was a really cool time, and I really miss working there because it was really like a job. And I don't know. I just wish I could just be like, hey, I want to work here, because they pretty much said, hey, if you want to work here, that's fine. Like they pretty much offered me the job.
Yeah.
And I was like, I live too far away, and they're like, oh, crap.
That is a whole Mac. Even driving.
Yeah, well, driving's not bad. It's 15 minutes to get down. Yeah, it's like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
You take a different way though.
It's still too much.
Yeah, well, if you want like kind of the way the bus went, you'd be there quick. Cause you go like under that tunnel overpass thing. You don't have to do that. But this is like outside the podcast.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, this was a long one.
Yeah, because this just work.
And it's almost 1.
Yeah, so
in the morning.
Hopefully you enjoyed this second podcast.
I'm gonna throw this hat on, Bill. I
actually like this podcast.
Damn.
Pretty lit.
Yeah, they're better than I expected.
Yeah, you can watch
they're
past.
They're like. It's really just it's like history.
Yeah, it's lit. And then we watch them again like a year. It's like, holy shit! Like what?
Like I used to work at Target.
Yeah.
I still do. I hate my life even more.
Yep. So, building out.
Hey guys, hope you really liked that video. And if you did, please
like, comment, share, and subscribe.
You should also check out our Twitter,
Facebook,
and Tumblr.
See you again soon!